Well, let's go to the commodities market now. We see demand for poultry products in Nigeria. That's been growing astronomically, with chicken being one of the most popular options. This product can be sold live or frozen. However, there's currently a significant demand deficit of 1.2 million tons of chicken, as the country only produces about 30% of what it consumes. This shortfall has contributed to rising prices. But despite the increasing cost, the price of frozen chicken has not surged as rapidly as that of other protein foods. Let's talk to Rose Adibe, now an analyst with FDC. Great to have you, Rose. So why is frozen chicken prices staying frozen?
Good afternoon, Laddie. So the main reasons why the price of frozen chicken has been increasing at a slower pace compared to other protein sources are consumer preferences and supply. On the side of the consumers usually like their food fresh. So they will go for protein options like beef and goat meat and fresh fish because they are concerned about how long these chickens have been frozen for, or what kind of preservatives have been injected into these chickens to give them a longer shelf life. So this ultimately affects the demand for this commodity, which has resulted in the price of this commodity growing slower compared to other protein sources. In addition, on the side of supply, rather, 4 out of every 10 households are involved in poultry farming, compared to other protein sources like fish, for instance, which is about 3% of population. So this creates a wider demand deficit. So for poultry, this 40% of Nigerians engaged in poultry farming produces about 30% of what is consumed domestically, compared to fish production. So there's a deficit of 70% for chicken, and there's a deficit of 90% for fish. So there's a wider demand deficit, and this ultimately affects demand, which then influences the price.
All right, so looking at chicken and eggs. You see 1 kilogram of frozen chicken, that's priced at about 5,000 naira according to your data, while a crate of smaller eggs, that's about 6,000 and 6,500 for bigger eggs. So we're seeing the price of eggs outperform the price that's higher than that of frozen chicken. So are we putting the egg before the frozen chicken at this point?
Not really. Although both these commodities are jointly produced, eggs only come from about 1/3 of the chicken population. So in a typical poultry farm, you have the cockerels, the broilers, and the layers. So the cockerels do not lay eggs. The broilers, however, lay eggs that are taken into the hatchery and turned into more chicks and chicken meat and all. So the type of bird that lays the eggs that we consume are the layers. And these layers are given a specific type of feed. And they also have like a particular timing where their egg production is at its peak. So that is between 25 to 30 weeks. So chicken meat comes from these 3 birds. So it's a wider source compared to eggs that only come from 1/3 of the chicken population. And with this, you see that and so most times when these layers become older, the cost of feeding them compared to the eggs that the farmer gets to sell in the market is higher. So these factors all influence the price of eggs. And that is why you see the price of eggs growing faster than the price of chicken.
All right, thank you so much, Rose. I do hope the prices come down for festivities so we can eat all the chicken and jollof rice. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.